Hey there, Premier League fans. It's time to get settled on into this weekend's Premier League preview with Matt and myself. We're going to break down all 10 games here. We've got our first international break after this match week, so a big week here coming up here in the Premier League. How's it going there, Matt?
It's going well. The Newcastle Liverpool match last week. Wow. I don't know if you saw that. Did you catch that one, Jason?
I mean, I heard you screaming, so that's what like kind of tipped me up to what's going on out there. And then I see that Liverpool bags the late winner.
Yeah, that was incredible. One of the best matches I've watched. Probably top five for me. To
Mm-hmm.
go down to 10 men like that and to be able to dig out a result and really look good, look better than Newcastle almost with 10.
Yes, for sure.
That's some really, really, really impressive.
Yeah, Jurgen Klopp said he had never seen that in his entire coaching career, like that kind of a win coming back and being as dominant as they were with the man down. And he said in his press conference, he was like, "We just needed to not concede because he felt confident in them getting the winner. That's how dominant they were in that matchup." Loved, and then we've also kind of spoken about their health, right? They can turn matches around late. You saw Nunez come off the bench and get the all important goal in the brace. So keep it rolling. I don't know what they'll do with Nunez. Maybe they'll kind of use him in that maybe super soul rub. He certainly deserves a chance at the starting 11 if they want to give him one, though.
Yeah, he will get more time. I think Klopp even mentioned that in the comments. Like he's not happy about not starting, but when the matches continue to roll in thick and fast with like Europa League and stuff like that, like he'll get a lot of opportunities.
Yeah, he certainly will. So, all right, guys, we're going to jump into all 10 of these games. We'll, of course, preview them, give you guys picks along the way. And, of course, at the end of the show, we'll do our Between the Post parlay of the week as well to go along with the individual plays that we'll have. So let's jump right on into the action. We've got Friday afternoon football here at Luton, where West Ham will be coming into town. And, boy, it's really hard not to like West Ham in this spot, kind of what they've been doing this season, what they did last week up against Brighton. And then you add that with what Luton did in the same spot Friday on the road at Stamford Bridge. And to me, they were absolutely abysmal in that match. I said in our preview show that they were going to get relegated. After watching that match, I still believe they're going to get relegated, but I think that match also shows that they're going to struggle against the big teams in this league. And West Ham, maybe they struggled last season throughout much of the campaign, but they still were able to lift a trophy, a European trophy. So they're still a good team. They're firing on all cylinders. I like West Ham money line, team total, any which way you want to cut it. Give me West Ham in this match.
Yeah, on the surface it looks, kind of slightly trappy. I think, just it's kind of that classic. It's a mid-table side taking on a bottom kind of feeder. It's their home debut there at Luton, and they were really solid there last season in the championship. You can look back, and they weren't beat in their last 9 at home, unbeaten in 21 of 23 here. So it does on the surface look trappy, but I just kind of have to go with what my eyes are telling me here. Um, I think that West Ham right now are in form. I think that they're an informed side. I think that they've made the proper buys with the Declan Rice money. I think that they've got a front three that's all feeling confident right now and kind of swagging out, if you will. Like that Jared Bowen goal last week was just pure class. The touch to bring it down, and then the flick past the goalie. And Antonio a couple weeks ago bags one against Chelsea. Ben Rama is always kind of tricky and he's hard to deal with. They have a nice front three. They've got some good midfield protectors in Souček, and I think that they have continuity at the back line. And then on the flip side, when you look at what Luton's done, I mean, yeah, the one thing you can say is maybe they've gone against two very solid opponents to start the season on the road at Brighton and on the road at Chelsea. Neither of those are easy, but. Yeah, I think that West Ham right now they have solidity at the back under David Moyes. That's kind of their MO is keep goals out, and I think that they have enough firing power on the front three to be able to unlock this Luton side and get the result. So I'm going to take West Ham on the money line here at minus 125.
I certainly like that as well. I love Souček and James Ward-Prowse, there in their midfielders. I think they're going to keep it rolling here, at least this one match here before that international break. They're table-wise, they're second place, right? They've got 7 points. They've gotten 3 goals against Brighton. They've gotten 3 goals against Chelsea. You like them on the money line, and I like them as well. I'm just going to play their team total perspective of over 1.5 goals. But I think we'll both get cashes in that game. West Ham's going to handle business here. Flip it over now
Yeah,
to
Jason,
Saturday. Yep.
real quick. When you say that too, like I didn't even realize that they've played the same opponents, these two teams.
Oh yeah, I guess so. Yeah, because Chelsea, yeah, they certainly have. So they lost to Luton, lost to Chelsea 3-0. West Ham wins 3-1. They lose to Brighton
Yep.
4-1. They beat Brighton 3-1. Yeah.
Yeah. And, it's not like, I mean, West Ham did it on the road.
Right.
So, they're feeling a little bit confident right now coming off of a nice victory on the road at the Amex. So, yeah, I just wanted to point that out too. The same two opponents, so common opponents here. And West Ham have looked better than, both of those sides really that they played. They maybe got a little lucky against Chelsea. But, yeah, just wanted to point that out.
I think, and I'm looking it up here. Yeah, Luton played yesterday in the EFL Cup, where West Ham, I believe, it was one of the clubs that gets like a bye in whatever hell round we're in the EFL Cup. Yeah, they got a bye, so they even get a little bit of rest advantage. Luton was involved yesterday in their EFL Cup game. So yeah, certainly good point there with that common opponents. Like that one. Give me that West Ham money line. Give me that West Ham team total. Let's move over now to Sheffield United versus Everton. And boy, was I scouring the books today trying to find a future prop on which manager to be sacked. That'd be Sean Dice. He's going to be gone, I think, in the international break if they fail to score. I do want to throw in that caveat. If they go 4 games into the Premier League season and have 0 goals scored, and especially with a couple of the opponents that they've played, Sean Dice, I'm be looking for him to unfortunately get sacked during this international break. They have been full-on struggling. I think this is an easy game to handicap because they've played 4 times since 2019. They've all stayed under 2.5, and they've also all hit both teams with score no. That's what it feels like. Get a goal, hold on for dear life, scrape out 3 points. I love the under. I love both teams to score no in this fixture as well.
Yeah, I'm in agreement here. I'm kind of just looking at something too, just based on some trends. Sheffield United have not been beaten at halftime in their last 18 straight at home. So they come out and they're really solid. I know that, those are back to the championship days. But, I mean, you can get Sheffield in the draw no bet market at plus money in the first half. That's kind of an interesting angle. I just think that Everton are so short on confidence right now. Week 1, they created a lot of chances, couldn't bury anything. It's a really tough match. I was surprised to see Everton as favorites here, really.
Right.
I was kind of maybe thinking about parlaying like a Sheffield double chance. But I just really ended up leaving this one. I agree with both your angles, kind of on an under.
Your double chance is certainly a nice little parlay piece. You can get it well up under minus 200. So I like that little leg there in a parlay piece. I'm kind of starting to feel bad for Sean Dice. Look at the squad. It's not getting much out of it. Not getting much out of it right now, which is really upsetting. The team's in trouble. The team is in full-on trouble. You can get them to be relegated at plus 170 still. I did find that future while I was kind of looking around for Sean Dice to be sacked. So see how this plays out. Hopefully they can bag a goal, but if not, I think Sean Dice will be getting his walking papers here during the international break, unfortunately. Let's move it over here to Brentford, where they're taking on Bournemouth, where this one I couldn't really get a good feel head-to-head. We're a little bit too early in the season. I think after the international break, when you're 4 games in, I'll really start firing out stats and trends and what have you. I would lean Brentford here at home. I would probably lean at over 2.5, but not a lot of confidence in this fixture at all. Was there something you were able to dig up?
Not really. I think that Brentford win the match. But I don't want to lay the minus 135, 140 on it. But on the flip side, I don't have a lot of confidence in this Bournemouth side. I thought that, I think that they were kind of lucky to get an early goal against Liverpool. They did create some chances late. I watched the entirety of that. That was the one real play that I had last week, and I lost on the Bournemouth Tottenham. Both teams are scoring over 2.5. Bournemouth didn't create jack shit. Let's be real. There was a couple little chances, some half chances, but there was nothing clear cut for them the entire day. And we know that Tottenham's defense is nothing really to write home about right now, and it's still a work in progress under the new manager. So Yeah, look at Bournemouth. Their last 9 on the road, they've conceded. Um, I think it might only take Brentford one, really. I think if Brentford score, I think that it'll be difficult for Bournemouth here. I just, they're just pricing Brentford as, I mean, they are kind of a top 10 club. So I do understand the price. I think it's probably correct, but I just wish it was a little bit cheaper, I guess, to buy in on Brentford here. But I mean, they've been very solid at home. This is kind of a mini fortress. 20 of their last 23 matches at home, they haven't been beat. We need them to win here. Um, and you look, I mean, they've scored at home in 15 consecutive Premier League matches. Brentford. I mean, that is strong. That's strong stuff. So, um, yeah, it's Brentford clearly or pass for me. I don't think that Bournemouth. I don't think that the side is very good. I was impressed with maybe one player. I'm trying to remember his name. He's the right winger there. He scored against Liverpool, but he is pretty solid. Kind of reminds you of like a young, like Alex Iwobi, like strong, kind of low center of gravity. But yeah, I can't be back in this Bournemouth side right now. I mean, there's a lot of moving parts, new manager. It's clearly Brentford or pass here.
It could be a good unders. I do kind of like under 2.5 in this picture. I think this one maybe, yeah, I'd certainly like everything you said, but I could see where this one gets kind of drawn out and it's 0-0 for a little bit uncomfortable for maybe anybody who may be backing Brentford. I think they'd certainly pull it out. But you got to remember, under 2.5 is hitting 5 of the last Brentford 6 matches. They're not contributing much on the offensive end, which is why you're seeing these under 2.5s. And you can get that at plus money. So I'm kind of interested there at that. We got Francisco. He's saying he likes under 11 corners. That's got me curious. I can kind of see this one being played a lot in the middle, not a lot of great attacking. Just kind of curious. Let's see where we've got here on the fixtures in terms of corners. How has Bournemouth been doing? They've been absorbing pressure. They've got one match. They've got 14 corners. Yikes, that's a lot of corners. Let's see what they did here against Liverpool. Where were corners in that one? We've got 12. That one's making me a little nervous. We haven't hit an under 11 yet in a Bournemouth match. And what they do against Tottenham. There we go. So they hit 8 there. I kind of like under 2.5 goals, but I can kind of see you there on that one. I can see it being played in the middle a lot. So I hear you there, Francisco. All right, let's move over now. We just talked about Tottenham there a little bit. They're going to take on, are going to go to Turf Moor here and take on Burnley. I was right about Burnley getting a goal in that last game. I feel like they're going to be a good side for getting goals at home and contributing to overs. You said that about Tottenham. And United earned a goal, I thought, certainly in that first half. You mentioned Bournemouth really didn't earn anything. That's got me a little conflicted here on Tottenham and their ability to keep matches over or under. I still like their ability to score, obviously. I think this one does go over, though, because Burnley is going to be that much strong at home. So I will take it over 2.5 in this one. Probably wouldn't mess around with a winner in this one. I know Spurs were in action midweek there in the EFL Cup, and they rested a lot of their big players, and then they threw them on late to try and chase that game and walk away with the win that, unfortunately fell a little short. I like over 2.5, though, in this one, and Tottenham probably edges out the win, but I'm not willing to get there.
Yeah, I'm in agreement too. I like the over here. I think that Burnley can contribute. I think that company and this Burnley side, like I think that they seem pretty attack oriented. They've been conceding goals too, and I do trust Tottenham to get on the score sheet. So I'm just going to stay away though from the both teams to score an over 2.5 angle. I'm just going to go with the over 2 3/4 line, minus 130 here. So if it does land on 3, then I would win half of my stake. That's kind of where I'm at here. I still am willing to go back to Tottenham and goals. Really, I still see it. Um, I just think that Bournemouth I think that Bournemouth played poorly. I think that Burnley can do a little bit better here and contribute. And if not, I think that Tottenham could possibly get there on their own.
Do you like an overs in that match? Good. I like when we're seeing overs. Want goals. Want to be entertained. Yeah. Burnley, yeah, that's right. They've only had the 2 games. Yeah, both of their games went over. Obviously, they didn't contribute much against City in terms of the over, but then it went over against Villa, and I do think you're going to see that. So, yeah, give me it over. It is juicy, so it's either Matt's angle of bumping it up to 2.5 or maybe a flat 3, or adding on the both teams to score. You can get the both teams to score in the over 2.5 at minus 115. Kind of like it. Kind of like that one a lot. All right, let's move over now to Stamford Bridge. Chelsea taking on Forest, where this was a entertaining fixture last season. 2 draws, 1-1, 2-1. I remember the 2-2 game at Chelsea. It felt like, oh shit, here it goes. Like, that was kind of late in the season, and Nottingham was certainly up for that one. All right, let's see what they're going to do this season, though. Pochettino got a little bit more stability in this club, still trying to figure it out, though. I think Chelsea's going to have a nice performance here. But because all these teams, we've got a lot of midweek action in the EFL Cup, I don't get me surprised if you're going to see another both teams to score in this one. Forest, so far in the earlier season, has looked a little bit brighter on the road, which is something you couldn't say last season. I think this is a both teams to score in over 2.5.
So do I. I do. I haven't gotten there yet. I don't know if I will get there, but I kind of just like both teams to score here, minus 109. And then I just kind of wanted to point out, I think that anyone that does watch the show, I think that like when you're looking at soccer lines and you're wanting to bet, I think it must start at Bet Rivers. Like kind of we talked about a little bit last week, like a lot of these companies have just taken away a lot of the very normal Asian handicap lines away, and FanDuel and DraftKings kind of juices up their Asian lines. They don't give you everything. So I would always start your handicapping off looking at Bet Rivers, and then if you can find better prices elsewhere, go there. Yeah, I think both teams. I trust in Forest right now. I think that Owanyi is an informed striker. He causes all sorts of problems.
Yeah, big tall kid.
I think that this side could be difficult for Chelsea too. Like I could even see Forest +1 here as being a possible angle, but for right now, I've just kind of left it.
You left it. Okay. Yeah, Forest +1. That's an interesting. Chelsea at the moment is not blowing people out. I mean, yeah, they blew out Luton, but that was Luton. I could gotta get there. For this one, though, I think I'll probably just stick to a goals one right there. All right, let's move over now to Manchester City. They're taking on Fulham. It's Manchester City, so I feel like every game is kind of handicapped the exact same way. Obviously, I fell just short of that team total last week. They created a ton of chances. I mean, the XG was 3.98. Haaland misses a penalty kick. It's the same story generally with City. They're at home at the Etihad, so I like everything about them. It's just finding a bet that works within your price parameters, and so far, I haven't quite been able to do that. Did you find one?
No, I couldn't find one here. I mean, I think you'd have to look at some type of goal scorer here, maybe like a Phil Foden or someone like that, that you could find a good price on. Fulham did show last week. We weren't sure whether João Paulinho would go or not. And it shows Fulham are a completely different animal when João Paulinho is in the lineup, holding that back line at his number 6 position. I think a lot of teams are interested. I saw that Bayern Munich are interested in the player now. He's just a little bit old because I think that Liverpool would be all over him to be their number 6. But he's 28. They want to buy someone that's a little bit younger, but he is class. So he's the only way that Fulham would stand a chance, I think, in this one. So it's good for them that he's in it. Yeah, I mean, for me here, if I had to play something, I would play Man City and unders, like Man City and under 3.5.
Yikes!
Just because I do trust Fulham. Their coach is great. I think they can keep it tight. It's always kind of hold your nose stuff against Man City, but Man City generally, like when they score 1 or 2, they kind of lock up from there. They don't generally like push the gas all the way and crush teams. I think that's always kind of been under like the Pep Guardiola MO. Like they just control matches. It's not that they just like blow you away. They blow you away by their control, but not necessarily by the goal line, by the end result. So if I had to stick my nose out here, yeah, it would be something. You could maybe do like an accumulator. You could do, Man City to win, Haaland to score, and the match goes under 3.5 or under 4.5, something like that. You'd have to get involved with an accumulator, I think, with all Man City matches, really, to drive the price.
I wonder what's this head-to-head if we've been staying under 3.5 in the head-to-head. So we had a 2-1, 2-1. Both fixtures last year were 2-1, 2-1. They ran away from a little bit there in the FA Cup, but then it went right back to cashing under 3.5, cashing under 3.5. Again, the FA Cup kind of got away from them, but back in the Premier League under 3.5. Under
Stayed
3.5.
strong.
Under 3.5,
Yeah.
and the Premier League has hit in every fixture since 2018.
Yeah. So that's where I'm at. I would be at it. Like you could get that at a plus price if you do City Holland under 3.5 or just City and under 3.5, whatever. That's probably going to be a plus price, I would think.
Holland came through last week. I told you guys he would have a nice little day of against, Sheffield United and newbie. I know he missed the penalty kick, but he still did come through and get that anytime goal scorer. Look for him at home to kind of replicate it. Let's see what we can get. We get Man City. You know what? I would if I wouldn't mess around with Holland because you can get, if you like under 3.5 that much, you could just parlay that with Man City money line at plus 114. And now you don't have to worry about Holland being one of the potential 3 goal scorers or however many. I would probably whack off Holland at that point.
Maybe, another bet that always kind of is strong, I think, with Man City, I'm just looking at markets and stuff, is, Holland to score first, but the price sucks, but it's plus 130. I mean, if it's going to be somebody first, it's generally going to be him. So that's kind of where I would look. Holland to score 2 is plus 120. Holland to bag a hat trick is only plus 370, which is wild. But yeah, maybe looking towards an Erling Haaland angle here.
Just one other one to throw out with you. So City money line under 3.5 plus 114. If you want to stretch that to under 4.5, but then add in Haaland, now you get the plus 108. So there's an angle there.
Those are the 2 angles you choose, kind of thing. I agree with both of them.
Yeah. All right, let's go over to Amex now, where you have Brighton taking on Newcastle. And this one I kind of have refreshes of my memory. When I was talking about Liverpool, Newcastle last week, I was like, man, at under 2.5 at plus 190 looks pretty damn tasty, but you probably just take the under 3.5. And, of course, you guys know we did do under 3.5, and we got actually a nice little 5-legged parlay hit to cash on Sunday with 3.5 goals in there. I feel like this is the exact same thing. I kind of like under 2.5. You're getting it at plus 160. But if I'm actually going to play it, you can get the under 3.5 at minus 160. And that's what I'm interested here in this one. Very, very, I think, cagey match here at the MX. I like unders in this one. What about for you, Matt?
Yeah, this is a really tough one that I've just decided to leave altogether. I kind of tip the edge a little bit to Newcastle here, just because I think that they're more solid than Brighton, and like you mentioned, kind of in a cagey match, I would rather be with the team that's a little bit more solid, like Newcastle. But some of the stats and trends and stuff like that, they definitely back goals. Newcastle have conceded 1 goal or more in their last 10 on the road, so they do concede on the road. We've always known them as kind of very solid at home. But on the road, they have been leaky. And then you look on the flip side, like Brighton, they score at home. They've scored 1 or more in 19 straight at home. 4 straight league matches over 2.5 goals in Brighton. So it's kind of a contrast in styles, really. A team that wants to go versus a team that's a little bit more solid, likes to play on the counter attack. And I generally don't like getting involved in these kind of matches with 2 teams with completely different MOs, ways of playing. Yeah, I've just decided to leave this one. I could see draw. I could see draw for sure. But yeah, I'm going to leave it.
If you remove Matchweek number 38 last season in the Premier League, you got to go back to 1991, Matt. The last time under 3.5 goals did not hit in this head-to-head. It's a very, very long time. There's a lot of matches sprinkled in there. Obviously, a lot of head-to-head that, is a little bit meaningless. But that's a lot of matches dating back to 1991, removing Matchweek 38 last week that cashed under 3.5. So I like the unders in this one. You've had a ton of both teams to score no in there as well. Let's add those up right quick. Let's have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 of those have had both teams to score no. This one's going to be cagey. I wouldn't want to try and predict a winner whenever I'm in a low-scoring match. I like to stay away from that. But Nick Pope, solid in the back. I'm loving in unders in this one. Do I take a stab at the under 2.5? I'm not sure. Probably last week. Probably just play it a little bit safe and do the under 3.5 like in Liverpool, Newcastle, and get a cash. I think the under 3.5 will certainly hit in that one. All right, let's take it over now to Selhurst Park, Crystal Palace and Wolves. And boy, you want to talk about unders. We just talked about unders. You got to talk about unders in this one. Palace is league worst in the Premier League. Games average 1.3 goals. Wolves are 17th. Their games average 2.3 goals. Last 11 head-to-head have seen under 3.5 goals. And 9 of the last 11 have seen both teams score or no. Yeah, cook me up and under, Matt. What about for you?
Yeah, I think that this looks like a very clear-cut under spot.
Right.
Yeah, you look at there was one head-to-head last year that did have, and it was this fixture, Palace at home. It was a 2-1 to Palace.
Under
So that one,
3.5.
yeah,
Like I said, the
under
last
3.5.
11 have hit under 3.5. Last 11 head-to-head. It's astonishing.
Yeah, this is my parlay of the week that we'll kind of get to later. I just yeah, I mean, both of these teams have solid defenses. Really impressed with Palace. I would lean Palace here, just being at home. But yeah, this is an under spot.
This is an unders, and don't watch this one. So, all right, enough of the unders talk. Let's talk about at least an over from my perspective. Let's go to Anfield with Liverpool taking on Villa. How can you not be impressed with everything? Certainly that Villa's doing. Liverpool, impressive win last week against Newcastle. No Virgil van Dijk. Obviously, he picks up the red card. Maybe a 2-game suspension. We'll wait to find that out. But certainly at this moment, a 1-game suspension. So he's definitely out for this one. That's obviously their rock and their captain. Kanate, you mentioned on the season preview more about their need to get a center back. Well, it's because Kanate just cannot stay healthy and cannot stay match fit. So we've got no Virgil for sure. Kanate's a little bit unsure. He obviously missed last week. 5 of the last 7 head-to-heads have gone over 2.5. Aston Villa is number 1 in the league with their games averaging 4.7 goals per match. It's a little bit of a bump going on the road as they remain number 1 with the games averaging 5 goals per match. They've conceded in every match they've played in so far this season on the road. I like it over 2.5. We talked about a couple of unders. This one to me is a clear over. I think it's both teams to score and over 2.5 as well.
Yeah. I think that this spot is very interesting. I mean, I think that Liverpool, you kind of come off of a high. Your guys are going to be a little bit jaded. 10 men had to do it for over 60 minutes. Now they're really going to need the power of Anfield in this match. I think that Villa match up very well. They can play on the counter. And then when you get into Virgil being suspended, Kanate not back until after the international break. So it's going to be Gomez and Matip. And Kwanzaa will probably come off of the bench, and they still haven't really signed a prolific central defensive midfielder. I see the only way for Liverpool winning this match is they just outscore them. And Liverpool can do that. They can do that to just about anybody, but that's still not really something that you want to go in hoping and to make a bet on, really. Like, I see like they would have to win this maybe like in a 3-2 kind of thriller situation. I was looking at anytime goal scores. I thought that Ollie Watkins at plus 225 seemed a little bit off.
Yeah, 225.
Yeah.
Wow, that's way off.
I thought that seemed a little bit big. He'll take the pens for them and all that stuff. And yeah, I'm really on the Villa train here. I'm on Villa +1. I thought that was kind of I grabbed that one a few days ago. That was like my first bet of the week. I got it at -120. I think it's like -125, -127 now. So I think that this is a really nice spot for Villa. I think that Unai Emery has shown he can go toe-to-toe with Jurgen Klopp in the past in his Sevilla days, and he's a world-class manager. Unai Emery's probably a top 10 manager in the world. He's got his guys. He's got a really solid team that's firing. The Diaby is coming out in this league on fire, scoring goals. He's kind of a big price right now, too, if you want to grab somebody like a winger like that that's in form. Moussa Diaby is definitely there. Yeah, this is It's going to be a really tough match, I think, for Liverpool. I wouldn't be surprised if they were to get beat here. But I do think that Anfield should be able to lift them a little bit. So yeah, I think the overs looks really good. I think that Villa +1 is kind of the best bet of the week. I would be surprised if Liverpool beat them by a margin.
Yeah, I would certainly be surprised at that. We got Francisco saying Trent has been awful. Jurgen Klopp definitely defended him in his most recent press conference that one there after the Newcastle game. Yeah, there's no perhaps Virgil van Dijk won't play. He is 100% out of this. He's got at least a 1-game suspension. Could go to 2 games based on his dissent after picking up that red card. So, yeah, 100% no Virgil. I like everything else you said, Francisco. They can certainly hang. They've been impressive. See what happens. That one's going to be a great match to watch. And then Sunday's got another great match to end it just before the international break over at the Emirates, where it's Arsenal taking on Manchester United. We've seen the last 4 competitive head-to-heads easily hit both teams to score and easily hit over 2.5. Will we get Rasmus Højlund? He's back in training this entire week. Does he come off the bench? Maybe does he get the start? You can kind of bring starters or strikers in on their debut. You do a lot of players, right? You bring them in on minute 60, maybe minute 70, but strikers are a little bit different. I'll be looking to see if he can probably start. But the way Manchester United has played this season, I think they have created enough. Even though again they didn't score in that Tottenham game, there were enough chances there in that first half to get a goal. You saw still last week how poor they've been. Raphael Varane, we kind of talked about there with Kanate. Varane's another player that he's a great center back, but his availability is the thing that holds him back, and he's going to be out through the international break and beyond the international break. I kind of like what the head-to-heads have seen. Both teams are scoring over 2.5 in this fixture.
Yeah, the head-to-heads cash in all 4. And then when you look at the last 4, the home team has been victorious in this one. And I do expect that to continue. I think that this, without Varane, that's going to be tough. You might see Harry Maguire, but probably it'll be Lindelof and Martinez.
Martinez, I don't know if he's shaken off his knock. Maybe.
Okay. So, yeah, I think it's a really good spot, too, for Arsenal. I think coming off of something last week where they were a little bit shell-shocked. Probably get Gabriel Jesus here that will lead the line, which is another boost for Arsenal. So, yeah, Arsenal team total is going in a parlay for me over 1.5. And I'm going to pair that with Wolves team total under 1.5 in that Crystal Palace Wolves game that we talked about should be a snoozer. So, yeah, I think it's a good spot for Arsenal. I think that this is a tough one for United. I think that they really need Højlund, but I would be shocked to see him start. Hopefully, you're kind of just hoping can he get 20 minutes here and stay healthy going into the international break, where then he can lead the line for the Red Devils.
Yeah, that's certainly the more logical approach is to certainly hold him back. I don't know if it'll be a cards-heavy match, though. Arteta's kind of like Guardiola, right? You don't really take City cards a match right there. Well, Arsenal so far in the season only has 3 cards in 3 total matches. They've not been card-heavy. I hear you. I would never bet a card without knowing the referees. Do we have referees? Oh, it's going to be Anthony Taylor. I've known him from years past. He's not a great card guy. We'll kind of see, but it's an interesting one right there. Quite interesting. All right, let's go ahead and throw these bets up here on the screen. Let's go ahead and toss Matt's up there, and that's what you're going to roll with, Matt, here in this one. I like it. A little, not a big card for you, but I would say kind of maybe bigger than normal, right?
Yeah, I like these angles. I think we've gotten a good look at these teams over the first few weeks, and we'll see how it shakes out.
All right, let's go ahead and get to our Between the Post parlay of the week. 2-1 so far this season on our parlay of the week. You can't blame me, and I can't blame you for last week's loss because we both had a losing leg in that parlay. That's not going to be the case this week. We will roll with that snooze fest there. And Crystal Palace Wolves under 3.5. That's Matt's leg. And I've added the over 2.5 and Liverpool Aston Villa as my leg. You can get that at minus 117 over at Caesars. Parlay of the week there. Bouncing back with a good win after getting a little bit undone last week there. So coming back with the vengeance this week, Matt. I love it. Absolutely love those. I mean, one game, which we love goals. The other games should be an absolute snooze fest. I love it.
Yeah, I really, I mean, that one does look like it looks like a banger.
It looks like a multi-unit play, and maybe I will bump it a multi-unit play if I don't find another play. That's how much I love goals and not goals in those two fixtures. So, all right, Matt, it was a fun way to kick off this kind of Premier League season as we now get to our first international break. So enjoy your break, enjoy the fixtures. Appreciate you guys hanging out with us here this week. Come back in a couple weeks and we'll preview match week number 5 in the Premier League. Have a good one, everybody.
Thanks, Jason.